right, we are back for another edition of the Astro Weather. Thank you for sticking around while I shoot up. How is everyone? How are you doing out there? We have an eclipse today, as you can tell by the thumbnail, which is very eclipsey, very eclipse-like. And all you, hold on a second. There we go. All you mutable signs out there, this is it. This is your last eclipse in the. I believe I just have to check again here. I need to as an expert. I need to be right. Right? I do. I need to be right. Let me just check to make sure that we get our eclipse cycles correct. Hold on. So did everybody have interesting dreams last night? Let's see. There we go. Sometimes I hate search. Get out of here. Let's try this. Let's try this. All right. Sometimes you think something's really simple. And it should be simple. Yeah, well, see, we got one more partial lunar eclipse. August 27, 28. And so that's an early Virgo. We got one more lunar eclipse. Wow. That's an early Virgo. Just like we're having a Virgo lunar eclipse today. It's crazy, right? It's not a solar eclipse. It's where the nodes are. So yes, we have one more eclipse in this cycle. Let's see. On August 12th, we have a total solar, and that sneaks in Leo on August 12th. And the eclipse is 9 minutes and 9 seconds away. Interesting. Eclipse in progress. That's the 2020 sun. Here we go. Where is it? Right here? Yeah. 8 minutes and 53 seconds. Let me show you guys. So here we are. The eclipse path. And this is what she looks like. That's where you want to pay attention to, right there. Right there. Right in the center of the ocean. Hawaii, you are on call. All right. So we're behind. First of all, let me just welcome everybody. And let's, why don't we just get to the weather? And that way I can't see. Oh, well, I'll show you again. It's always the first one, isn't it? It's always the first fucking one. Total lunar eclipse. Here we go. We'll try it again. There it is. You should be able to see it now. Right there. I'll make me a little smaller. There we go. And that is we'll make this bigger. Smaller, bigger, bigger, smaller. We can do it all. That's the eclipse path right there. And this is when it gets full right there. There's Hawaii. And so Hawaii should be able to see it. Should definitely be able to see it because it is early in the morning, 6 hours difference. So this is where you people out in the Pacific Ocean are going to see this eclipse. So if you're on one of these islands out here listening to the show, it's time to go out and go look at the eclipse if you do those sorts of things. The South Pacific right here, this is the Ring of Fire. I mean, look at this. The eclipse is happening dead center in the Ring of Fire. We're also, I guess, in Purim today, which I'm going to talk a little bit about over on 15 Minutes of Flame. The link to 15 Minutes is in the description for the show. So if you want to join me over there, we're going to do kind of a roundup of where we are with this whole Iran thing. And there's new developments that are shocking, but not shocking, that I'm gonna talk about, and it gets into a lot of the stuff that we were covering on Sunday night, and really just validating. This is, I mean, don't mean to toot the old horn here, but one of the reasons why you want to listen to the Sunday night show, and even here, but really the Sunday night show, we get to really stretch out, is we get to talk about things and really go fairly deep into a subject. And well, I'll just tell you here, because some of you won't make it over to the to 15 minutes. But we talked about this deal that Israel and what it means, what it portends. It means a fucking regional war, right? They're not going to stop at Iran. This whole thing with, oh, well, all we have to do is just regime change Iran. It's like, no, Israel is positioning itself to take on other countries in the Middle East. It is insane. And there's footage, and I'm going to play it over on 15, of this guy, Naftali, what the fuck is, always forget his last name. You know, I always remember it. Naftali Bennett. And he was PM of Israel for, I don't know, a year and a half, something like that. And I have tissues here. And when he was PM of Israel, very aggressive guy. Born in the United States, by the way, and due to his right of return, he could go back to Israel with his parents. And he was PM, very young PM, and an Aries. And I thought, oh my God, Libra Netanyahu is bad. Well, this Aries Bennett guy is going to be even worse. And for whatever reason, he did not last very long. They've got a weird system, you know. I wouldn't call it a democracy. I mean, really, I wouldn't call it democracy. I don't know what it is, but it's not a democracy in the way that we know a democracy. So he's still in the government. He still holds a position, but he's not the point guard, right? The trigger man, as they call it. That's Netanyahu. But Bennett started talking about Turkey. He said, yeah. Iran is, I'm glad we're doing this with Iran. He goes, into his like little soliloquy. But the real threat in the region is Turkey. Erdogan, he's very, very smart and very resourceful. Made him sound like a fucking Bond villain. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Now they're going to take on Turkey. And that, boys and girls, is a major foe for the Israelis. And they also want to take on the Pakistanis. which is why they did this deal with India. And I began to think about it, and it's like, oh, they're gonna allow for 50,000 Indians to come into their country. Like, it's just like weird sort of trade technology deal, but the technology is linked to weapons and contracts, and it's like, oh, well, 50,000. What are they going to do with 50,000 Indians? Maybe they will conscript them as part of their war effort against the Turks or against the Pakistanis, their natural hated regional rivals. I don't know. So this thing is getting out of control. It's like once they open the floodgates, the floodgates open. Oh, look who's here! It's the Astro Weather cat. Yes, it's Sweet Peachy. Yeah. Anyway, what were they thinking too about starting a war in a Mercury retrograde? Oh, there's a cardinal in the backyard. Well, first cardinal of the season. For all you cardinal signs, that's a good sign. But what are they thinking starting a war in a Mercury retrograde? Maybe that's part of it. Maybe they just want a forever war. It just keeps going, starts and goes back and starts and goes back and starts and goes back and starts all over again without any end. An endless cycle of war. Well, I don't necessarily totally believe that. Well, the Mercury retrograde part, but going back and back, I was like, oh, weren't we here before? Because I do think it will end, but I don't think it's going to end. Look, we've been talking about this for a long time now. We're here. We're here about the time we've been talking about. And the astrology says 3 years. And we're just getting started, okay? And what do I mean by that? It's 3 years of Saturn and Aries. That's what we're talking about. And the outer planets are just nothing. The outer planets are just napalm in the wind. That's what they are. They're napalm in the wind. They're all fire and air. And I guarantee you, one of the things you're going to see over the course of the next 3 years is a new form of weaponry. That's coming. And the United States, people are talking about how the United States only has, we only have so many missiles because we've been sending them to Israel, right? We've been selling these things. And so our theoretical stockpiles of weapons are quite low. So a lot of people are talking about this, but I will tell you that they have an entirely new form of weaponry that they will unleash over the course of the next few years. Sophisticated, high-tech weaponry, like with sound and lasers and all kinds of like sci-fi shit. That's coming. And that's why the US isn't so freaked out about, well, we only have so many Tomahawks, because they use that stuff down in Venezuela to spring Maduro, and it's heavy artillery, really heavy artillery. All right, let's do this. Let's get into the weather. Chat, thanks for being here. Welcome to the show. If you're out there in the internet and not in chat, welcome as well. Because I get a number of messages. I listen, but I'm not always a part of chat, and I just want to acknowledge the people that are here but not in the chat room. They deserve a little recognition as well. All right, so let's go over this. This is today. This is what we're looking at, and there's your just after the eclipse, 14 degrees. Where are we with the eclipse? It's on now, right? The eclipse is happening. Yeah. Next eclipse in 162 days, 1 hour and 7 minutes. So you can see the eclipse here. What'll be interesting about the eclipse in September is that the moon is going to be new. It'll be a new moon lunar eclipse, which is pretty rare. And it's because of the south node. Wow, it'll be interesting. Anyway, in August, it's in August. So here we go. There's your moon in Virgo, and I've been thinking about all of these Piscean planets: Venus, Mercury. We got Mercury retrograde, Sun, and Mars is now in Pisces. And they started this war with Mars and Aquarius. So that tells you about the future of war, right? Tells you about the future of war. And that Mars is war, right? Mars is war. It's Aries. It's the war god. And in Aquarius, it is futuristic. It is scientific. And that is what they will unleash at some point. But now Mars is in Pisces. And it is completely like people are going to get very emotional about war, very emotional. And being emotional doesn't mean that they're going to be anti-war. Like the tides of emotions can swing either way. Like you'll have people that are like all in, yeah, go bomb the shit out of them. Bomb that royal palace, get the fuck out of there. You know, you'll get that. You will get that. People will have that kind of response. And then you're going to get other people which are going to be very aggressive in their quest for peace. Yep, that's Mars and Pisces. It is a challenging Mars, to say the least. It is the slumbering giant in some ways that's been awoken. And look out, right? Because it is also very much like a tsunami. Mars, and anytime you get Mars in a water system, especially in Pisces, more than the other two, it is tsunami-like in its effect. So that's we're gonna, and it's just getting started. It's just happening, right? And so people are going to, just in general, their emotions are going to run really strong, right? Because war has a ripple effect. It's not, and I know it's happening in the Middle East. By the way, oil and gas prices have gone up already. I mean, I drove by my local gas station, went up 10 cents per gallon just one day. And I'm like, what? Wow, okay, here we go. They're playing that game. And how do you think people will feel about that as gas prices, continue to rise, unless, of course, they somehow magically transform Venezuela into a modern marvel of petroleum production in the course of 4 to 5 weeks, which I don't think is going to happen. And you can see why they went into Venezuela. Yeah. We may have a hard time getting oil through the Strait of Hormuz. We may as well have our own little Strait of Hormuz from Venezuela to the U.S. So you can see why they did that. So now we're in an oil war, right? Because Pisces also represents petroleum. And if you haven't seen the latest Tucker Carlson, I highly recommend it. And I know people can be hard on Tucker for a number of reasons. If you're on the anti-Tucker side, he needs to be in a camp. And even people that are on the Tucker side sometimes they feel like he doesn't go far enough. And I'm a little there sometimes. But he really lays this thing out. And so one of the things, Europe, just watch it. He talks about Europe, and he talks about this natural gas, LNG, this liquid natural gas that Europe, which has no way of like having any petroleum itself except for maybe the North Sea, which is not easy to extract oil from. Europe needs this liquid natural gas or LNG, and they get it from the Middle East. And one of the countries that they get it from was attacked, theoretically, by Iran, but more than likely it's the other country that starts with that. So this is Mars and Pisces, right? These are petroleum wars. These are water wars. And it's all coming, right? It's here. We're going to be living through it. And emotions are going to be running really, really high. I saw this clip of this young gal, this young astrologer saying, oh, just stay away from Pisces. They've got so much going on right now. Like with the eclipse. First of all, the eclipse doesn't really affect Pisces as much as it affects Virgo, but I understand it's a talking point, right? And then Mars, she brought up Mars and Pisces. And, well, yeah, I mean, but what if you're at the end of Pisces and like 25 degrees? Mars isn't really affecting you as much as it will be in, 3 or 4 weeks, right? So early Pisces, yes, Mars is going to affect you. It's definitely going to affect you. I got a Mars trine today. That's a good trine. What am I going to do with all that trine energy? I wonder. But emotions run high, right? And this is going to be the path of Mars. And we get that Mars Sun. Well, I don't think the Mars Sun conjunction is going to happen. Mars is still behind the Sun, right? It's a morning star, as somebody pointed out last week. But Mars is going to run its course, run its cycle through Pisces, and I think the second decan is the one that's going to be the most volatile because it's in the Cancerian decan, which is cardinal and very volatile, extremely volatile. And then it's got to go through that third decan in Scorpio at 20 degrees. And I just feel like that's death. That's like military death. That's like bodies coming home in how are they going to handle this? And today, like when we look at this, the 12th house is it's occulted, right? Occulted meaning intercepted. So we have Aries on this is just at the time it's reading. So everything is hidden. Everything is sort of behind the Aries paywall, which is all about even if we didn't have the chart for this time at 8 a.m., we would still have Neptune and Aries sort of leading the pack, right? And Neptune being the fog of war. People can't see what's going on. They don't completely understand. And Saturn now at 2 degrees, so it's moving on, right? Saturn is marching forward, and it gets up to 14 degrees this year in retrogrades. I would say that my suggestion or advice today for anybody, just in general, is it's a fine line and balance between being clear and critical and kind of knowing the emotional score, right? Even if the moon has been partially eclipsed, for a period of time here. Totally eclipse, rather, but partially in the sense that we don't see it. It's a fine line between being critical and clear and just sort of blindly trusting your emotions. Like, I think this is one of those days where you can pull the hair out of your head at what people do or say or their actions. It's like it makes no sense. And there's this feeling of, am I the only sane fucking person around here? Like, where did all the sanity and the rational points go? Where did the IQ go? I mean, that's a big feel for today. We got Chiron creeping up on Ceres, and for me, that's sort of nurturing your wounds. Nurturing your wounds. Jupiter saying, come on, take a risk. You can take a risk. Still in that square. Take a risk. Yeah, but risk of what? Right? And we have a lot of sextiles going on with Uranus. We've got Mercury, which is still retrograde, of course. We've got Venus, sextile Uranus. So it's probably easy if you're in your feels, right? It'll be easy for you to find other people that are in their feels. Because I guarantee you, these are the conditions of the feels. And it's like, yeah, you'll find your in group. No problem. But some people just aren't feeling it. And that's the moon. That's the moon in Virgo. It's Mrs. Doubtfire. So very interesting day lies ahead. I suggest you go easy on criticism. It'll be tough, right? Especially if it comes at you. Where the fuck is this coming from? You know, I don't know where this is coming from. You know, bless you. May the Lord make path a little easier here. I wouldn't say that because people are probably very touchy. Don't tell me what I should be doing. And whose Lord exactly are you talking about? Yeah. It's going to be an interesting day. For sure. And we got Purim on top of it. And we got Purim stories galore over in 15 minutes. So everybody out there, just take some breaths, right? Take some deep breaths and try your best not to take anything personally today. And of course, whenever I say stuff like this, it becomes my own test, right? I can't tell you how many times I've gotten into the weather and my day is the weather. It's like, here you go. You were talking about it. Let's see where you are with it. So, yeah. And the eclipse was conjunct my Pluto this morning. I'm still here. Knock on wood. All right. Be like bamboo. Be strong and bend, but don't break. That's the mantra for the day, right? Bend, don't break. Bend, don't break. And this is not just today. This is kind of a cycle. I mean, we think about these things as like, well, these are just the conditions for today. This is the cycle for the next eclipse. This is the cycle that we're setting up, which resolves itself 162 days from now when we're in the next eclipse. We are in a bend, don't break cycle. wrap your noodle around that. It's like, oh shit, okay. So for the next 162 days, I'm in bed. Yeah, and it would be really good to do things like yoga, tai chi, stretching. Learn from those disciplines. Bend, don't break. Because the moon in Virgo can be so rigid, right? So rigid and judgmental and critical. And you have all this Pisces on the other side, which is fluid. And there's this dynamic tension between being critical, and we need the critical nature. You know, if we don't have the critical nature, we can't survive. You know, it's like it's what you teach your kids. Like, don't put that in your mouth. It'll kill you. Don't touch the flame. It'll burn you. Right? That's the critical nature. Don't put that in your body. It's not good for you. Meanwhile, Pisces just wants to go with the flow, man. Just go with the flow. And there's a dynamic tension and balance between these two. Okay, Jesus, I just go with the flow and, you know, go along to get along. And then you go along to get along, and then the moon kicks in. And you're like, fuck that. These people are nuts. What are they doing? What are they talking about? What are they demanding that we do right now? And so I think oppositions are the hardest aspects in astrology. They're the hardest because the energy is oppositional. It comes at you, right? It's like it's inside of you, but it's also external as well. All right, let me get on to our star of the day. Here we go. Banner up. Time for the banner. Got me a banner. And let me put up the star of the day. Oh, yeah, very interesting star of the day today. Very interesting. All right. Let me do a little screen share. And let me talk about True Hemp Science. Our good friends over at True Hemp Science and our buddy Chris. He is no Charles Ponzi. I can tell you that right now. You get what you pay for. And what you get are these fantastic tinctures. We have Hypnotica. We have Solara. We have Synapta right there. And these are essential for your daily supplement regimen. They're essential because what they do is they get inside your cells and they basically lubricate your cells from the inside out. And it's not just your cells, it's also your brain and the neural pathways in your brain. And some of the ingredients in these tinctures also include cannabinoids, which can slightly alter your perception and mood. That's what we're talking about here. So if you spend $100 or more, type in 15MINS. I think there's a $10 discount right now over on his site. So you get that on top of everything else. And he's got some new products that he's working out, one of which has Shilajit, and $150 more, get you free shipping. And the thing about it is you're supporting a business here in the United States. The growers of the organic hemp live here in the United States. Chris, who produces the hemp, and it's like lab tested here in the United States. The shop is in Austin, but the reach is national. But it's here, right? Everything from seed to your mouth is born, bred, processed, and shipped here in the U.S. So you support that, and you support local business, and you do support the show as well by supporting our main sponsor, TrueHempScience.com. All right, let's talk a little Charlie Ponzi, also known, if you want to know his full name, if you want to know Charles Ponzi's full name, I have to bring it up because it's a long fucking name. His full name is Carlo Pietro Giovanni Guglielmo Tebaldo Ponzi. You guys got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fucking names in his name. He also had aliases. Charles Ponzi, Carlo, just going by Carlo, Benny Bronco, Bronco, Benny Bronco. Where did he get that name? I think I'm going to become Benny Bronco. They're on to the Ponzi thing. I'm going to become Benny Bronco. And then his other alias is Charles P. Bianchi. So he's got a name with 6 names in it, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aliases. This guy was a piece of work. He was born on March 3rd in 1882. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is where we get the name Ponzi scheme from. Look at him. He's sitting there like a little banker. The guy showed up. He took one of the ships over from Italy, and he gambled away everything on the ship. He lost it. He had $2.50 when he got to the U.S. And I'm telling you, this dude had some fucking willpower. Let me tell you. Never been more proud to have Mars in Cancer, because this guy, his Mars is at 1 degree. It's in the 8th house. And I got Mars at 0 degrees in the 8th house. I'm wondering, man, is my Mars like his? I don't know. But he had this amazing ability to endure jail time and failure, like in a weird way, in a really, really weird way, not in a healthy way, right? Like not in a healthy way, but in a weird way, this guy is like the American freaking story. That, even though he spends time in Canada, where he's jailed for one of his schemes. He had more than one scheme, by the way. But it's his Ponzi scheme, which has to do with the resale of these stamp coupons. Like it's a really he's the guy that basically invents the pyramid scheme. He comes up and he was fucking rich. I mean, rich. He came to this country with $2.50, and he was worth like $20 million at the height of his scheme. And then what happened is like and he would manage the payouts, and people lost a shit ton of money. Like the influence that he had on people's finances was way more like widespread than I thought maybe he was like this. No, this guy was kind of a major player. And what happened is that a newspaper, which is publishing, right? A newspaper ran a story on his criminal past. So it wasn't like he missed any of his Ponzi payments. And people for a while, like if you were at the beginning of the Ponzi scheme, you were making a shit ton of money. He was saying, I can make you 50% on your investment. Like that's all unheard of. But early in the day, he was taking that, borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. And those early people were making a shit ton of money. And of course, they wanted more. They got more people involved. Hey, I made all this money with this guy. And he started his own company. This is what I wouldn't say I love this about him, but he starts this company. And he calls it the Securities Exchange Company, also known as the SEC. I shit you not, in January 1920, he starts his own company, Securities Exchange Company. Doesn't that sound really official? All right, so what about his chart? First of all, he's got a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. You know who else has a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction? Bill Gates. Bill Gates has a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction where in the second house. That's the house of Taurus, right? So here he's got Jupiter-Pluto in the 7th house. And he, of course, makes a shit ton of money, right? This guy just pours it on. And it's all about contracts. That's what the seventh house is. And he spoke multiple languages. He was his first job in Canada was working for a bank, and he was very successful at this bank. Even though the bank eventually went bankrupt and he was out of a job, he was very successful because he spoke English, he spoke Italian, and he spoke French. And he's got that Sun-Venus conjunction, right? And so he's very personable, very, very personable. And Sun-Venus are in sextile, right? His sun is in sextile with what? In sextile with Saturn and Neptune. So people would get a sense that they could fucking trust him. They could trust him. Yeah, I could trust you. And he's got Neptune and Saturn in the sixth house, so he's going to be shady. He's got the Neptune-Saturn conjunction. Not unlike this current one, but in a different sign. And the moon in the 10th house is scandalous, right? Like, this is the nature of the moon. And he's born on a full moon, so he's out there, right? People are there, and he's got it in the 10th house, so he's going to be successful, right? If you're born on a full moon, there's a very good chance you are a very strong personality and you are adept at something related to your moon. Like for Ponzi, he was very adept at, and you may think, this is the thing about his chart. You may think that this guy, he's just, a wild ass con man and thief. And that's true. But do you realize all the details and all the plates that were spinning that he had to manage in order to keep his Ponzi scheme going and project this image of, hi, I'm just like a Rockefeller? Like, you have to be able to have your shit together in some ways in order to do that. And for him to do it as long as he did. That's your moon in Virgo. Like, okay, I'm good. I can multitask the shit out of this thing. And he's got a moon Saturn trine. So clearly he's gonna work hard, right? But at the end of the day, it becomes scandalous. And it's the true node in Sagittarius. It's like, okay, it's the press, right? The press is going to run a story on me, on me, not on what my business is about, but on me personally and my past. And so there's your moon in the 10th house where it becomes scandalous, right? And what's enough? There's never enough for this guy. Never enough. And he's got Uranus in the 10th house and it's retrograde. So you just know at a certain point, it's all going to come tumbling down. And he's not a dummy. He's got Mercury in Aquarius, kind of third housey, right? So there's your multiplicity of languages with Mercury in the third house. And he's very aggressive. He's got a trine with Mars, and this is other people's money. And his job is to basically shake as much money from other people as possible. He's got his part of fortune in Taurus and Pluto in Taurus. You have to wonder with this chart if this guy would have been hired by like the Rockefellers or JP Morgan or somebody like that. He would have been fucking successful. I'm telling you right now. Like, given the state of the hand that he was dealt, right? He would have been, I know it's a Ponzi scheme. I mean, think about that. This guy's immortal. It's like he has a whole scheme named after him and a bunch of business models that are based on what he did. Like Amway just modified it and made it legal. MLMs are part of the sort of original version of the Ponzi scheme. They're just legal versions of it. They found workarounds, right? So he's the guy that creates all that. And he's got a Sun Uranus opposition, so he's not going to be traditional with how he goes about his work, right? He's like, the system doesn't invite guys like me to the table. Fuck it. I'll bet you that I think he even wrote his own book. Like he wrote an autobiography, which I think could be really an interesting read. But I bet you, like many, many criminals, they have this ability to justify their crime. It's like the Rockefellers do this. They have their own version of it. It's called Wall Street. Well, why can't I have mine? Right? That's your Sun Uranus opposition right there. And he stayed at the party too long. Interesting character. Very interesting. I'm telling you right now, if this guy had a gig working for one of the robber barons of the day, he would have been fucking successful. He was just successful in a cheat code kind of way. And spent a lot of time in prison. He ruined lives. I mean, the amount of money, let me just give you an idea as to the amount of money. And he had a huge lifestyle. He lived luxuriously. He had bank accounts in several banks. He bought a Locomobile, which was one of the finest cars at the time. This guy had a lot of dough. But when it was all over, the magnitude of the losses, he brought down a bunch of banks, including Hanover Trust. His investors were wiped out, receiving less than 30 cents to the dollar. They lost about $20 million in 1920 dollars, approximately $321 million in today's scheme or today's economy. Madoff, who was also a Ponzi schemer, cost his investors $18 billion, 53 times the amount. See, Bernie Madoff was paying attention. He knew where his bread could be buttered, running the same thing. Right? He's running the same thing. He winds up eventually going to Brazil in his old age and dies penniless in some kind of home that is willing to take him. And he had a wife, and his wife stayed with him for a very long time until his last stint in prison. And he got out, and after a couple of years, she divorced him and moved to Italy. She was Italian, just like Ponzi. So anyway, really very interesting. And I would say an interesting chart. Are you kidding me? Part of fortune. The thing is that he needed to be more truthful, but instead he was coming from that South Node in Gemini. I mean, this is his story. He says, yeah, I'm a hustler. I can produce one thing over here, but over here it's a completely different thing. It's very Gemini. And he needed to be a bit more scrupulous, right? And instead he was unscrupulous. He needed to be more Sagittarian. But he brought this into this lifetime. He was a hustler. He came in being a hustler. And he stayed here. This is where all my money's made, over here. Very interesting chart. He did it all with a Virgo moon. Look at that. All right, there's your True Hemp Science star of the day, Charles Ponzi. That means that I'm out of here as we reach the end of today's show. Thanks for being here. Come over to 15 minutes. And we will get into where we are with Iran and all things related, and update. And, I kind of spilled the beans a little bit about where it's going, but we'll get into more. We'll talk about Purim and the whole nine. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Be easy on yourself and try to find that balance between just kind of going with the flow and going along with the crowd, and also stepping back and saying, I'm not really part of that. So it's a tricky dynamic, and it's our dynamic literally for the next 160 days until we have this new eclipse kicking in. Bend, don't break. Be like bamboo. Maybe be like water. But bamboo's a good analogy. All right, take care. Have great days. Love you all. Chattari, you're the best. Bye for now. Come over to 15. Oh, don't forget, hit like, subscribe if you like this. And you may think you're subscribed. You might be wrong. You may want to check and go back to YouTube because they have a nasty little habit of unsubscribing my people. So click in, subscribe, and get updates as to when I'm doing content. All right, take care. Bye for now.